All right, welcome in everybody to Fourth and Five. And yes, we are finally giving what very few of our viewers want. It's the breakdown of the last game of the year, Missouri versus Arkansas, the last loss of the year to go ahead and cap off a 2-10 season. And I just thought, Grant, that we just moved past this since Silverfield came in, and that's probably what we wanted to shift focus to. But I've had so many comments of saying, "What about that Missouri breakdown? What about that Missouri breakdown?" And we listened to our people. So here we are doing the Missouri breakdown. So we're going to break this up into three sessions, and so sections that is. Usually Grant does his let Grant cook, so we're going to combine those together. So I'm going to do a little defense. I'm going to do a little KJ Jackson because I think he's what we need to look forward to next year. And then Grant, we're going to cycle back some of the same plays I talked about, but kind of focus on the offensive line. Now, normally when I do my breakdown, I do it. When you do yours, you do yours. Okay, so we're going to join this thing together and
Well,
give
we
the
got it,
people
man.
what they want. All right. So
We're gonna make
we're
it
just
happen.
gonna hop right into it and start with the defensive side of the ball. And so for me, I think it was a theme that kind of popped up all year. We are a very emotional defense, and the reason I say that is when the when the emotions are going and the crowd is into it, and it seems like we're in a good spot, we played at a high physical level, but it was not consistent at all. Okay. And once we hit those speed bumps and hurdles, you found ourselves in a spot of not doing too well. So let's go ahead and bring this up full screen right here. We'll start with this play right here. I'm going to talk about physicality. And this is what frustrates me, Grant, because when you see it on tape, it's just like, what's preventing you to doing that more often? So right here, Missouri 3rd and 3 in the red zone. Arkansas up by a score. Second quarter, okay? You get this slot receiver coming in motion. Okay, now this dude's a little guy. He's a fast guy. But I like the mentality. Connie Walker, I'm pointing you out right now. What are you going to do? Somebody coming to block you, try to kick you out. Same arm, same leg. Boom, puts him down. And then he starts talking a little bit right here. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. And there's a few things to unpack on this one. All right. It was 3rd and 3. Okay. They got the first down and they're getting closer and closer to scoring position. One thing. Now, I like you letting them know, hey, I'm here if you're going to come across this. Now, this was a little guy, but my thing is, Grant, I want to see the consistency of being a physical attack first type defense where we struggled with that with a lot of our players throughout the entire year. It's just like don't pick one play to be physical, pick all the plays. Once again, right here, the ball is handed off. Connie Walker's looking right at it. And right now, you have this defender coming to block you. And I said this a lot during the year. Our DBs on tape are so easy to block. And I think what coaches start seeing when they watch film on Arkansas last year, they would tell their running backs, they would tell their receivers, they don't like contact. They won't be physical. Once you get to the second level, that's where the big plays are going to happen because they just sit and catch everything. Okay. Exactly right here. Watch this. Just sits there, plays a little pity pat instead of coming downhill and being a part of the play. Once the play is recognized, once again, eyes on the backfield, ball is handed out. What are we doing right here? Are we going to attack or are we going to sit here and wait? Watch this. I press play after he sees the ball handed off. He's still getting depth, taking so long to adjust to put his nose in there. And now what do? You got to run through this guy trying to block you. Just once again, more of an avoidance type approach in the secondary. But Grant, I would say that was a big Achilles heel, I would say, all year from the secondary on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, and how many times have we talked about breaking down our own offense that our receivers don't want to block, and you got defensive backs for the other team making plays that could have been, like this one, 15, 20 yards down the field, yet we're getting tackled for 4 or 5 yard gains because the defensive backs, the safeties, and the corners are coming up and making plays in the run game. So it's like we see the negative side of it happen to us, but we don't get the benefit of it when our defense is on the field.
Exactly. And I'm going to keep rolling. Kind of same theme. And I'm going to go through a few of these clips. I'm going to point out some areas we need to work. But like I said, we've had some guys do some big things. I don't think it was Larry Worth's best year. But I will say this, the physicality point of his game was never in question. Watch this.
Mhm.
This is how it's done. Recognize that it's a run, and then it's full speed, reckless abandonment. Be a part of the play. He accelerates downhill, doesn't let off the gas at all, and delivers a big time hit. Okay, so we've shown it on tape with a few guys. I just hated that and it seems like a lot of guys we pointed out this year, Grant, and I don't know how much to put into this. Larry Worth, he's been here. He's been through the grind, been through this program. Really wanted to make it a point, him coming back from last year. And then a lot of these guys I point out that just have these questionable willingness to be physical are guys that transferred in. It's almost like they don't it look a lot on tape like they just didn't care. Because I think when it comes to the game as a DB, you can do the whole finesse stuff. You can guard a guy downfield, but the hard part that comes with that job, back to when I played tight end, I hated 42 lead when I had to be the fullback. I hated that play. But I had to do it because I cared, you know what I mean? I was gonna
Right.
have a headache, I was gonna see twice of everything. That's not really my suit, but I just had to do it, and it seems like when it came to that part of the game, to some of our DBs, they passed up on a lot of, contact, and, that was the theme all year.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I would say it was been defense. We've had a couple of guys that aren't afraid to stick their nose in there, but overall, we've seen a lot of defensive breakdowns where people didn't want to stick their nose in there and go make a play. It's a
Yep.
bunch of run up and be a pile judge, or run up and fill this gap and then never go just shoot your shot. We used to say you left your pistol in the holster. You
Yeah.
go in there and make a play. And I think I keep going back to this play in Memphis, but I think it was Caleb Wooden on that fourth down or third down that was a game defying play when their backup quarterback was in, that drug our whole defense 7 yards for a first down. He had
Yeah.
a chance to shoot the gap and go get this guy in the backfield. They weren't throwing it's odd to me that the level of physicality just wasn't there, where the year before I think it was. I mean,
Yeah.
we played a really aggressive style of defense with people flying around, and this year was almost like we were scared to miss a tackle. We just didn't ever shoot our shot.
Uh I drew a line right here, 1st and 10. This is the line of scrimmage, and you always say this: you got to win the line of scrimmage. Okay, that's where it's up front. Missouri, for the most part of the day on offense, they reestablished the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball. That's why they had a great day running the ball. Take a freeze frame like here. I mean, look at that. I mean, beautiful. When you got your D tackles 3, 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and beyond that, Grant, look at Cam Ball right here, number 5 on your screen. When you got your D tackles turning into running 50 yards down the field, um, that's a tough one right there. Okay. And so, I mean, he's playing like he's safety right here. Okay. Very interesting thing right there. And, D tackles in that situation, it's get down the line of scrimmage and get ready for the cutback, not necessarily be the last line of defense. And I'll go ahead and go through a few of these. I'll let you plug your little light up. I know that's bugging you. All right. So you go
I
ahead and
thought
plug.
I had plenty of juice, man. I thought I had plenty of juice. I guess I was wrong.
No, it's all good. I guess we're gonna do it in the dark. Sound good?
Uh,
Can you does that does
I'm
that
working
does
on.
that plug up?
Yeah, yeah, it does. It's on me. You know what? Hey, right here, I'll throw the flag. This is 100% on me. I moved my charger to charge my phone next. And,
Oh,
that's a whole story, but we're not going to get into the
yeah, yeah,
details.
yeah,
Long
yeah.
story
Fair
short
enough.
is the light went out. We're going to rock with it until, I'll be like, hey, I'm going to get it fixed. We're going to get
Man,
this fixed. Don't
if that is not indicative of the season for the Razorbacks, the lights going out on us. All right, so
worry. This is it.
it, it it
This
hits the
is
theme.
the night the lights went out right here.
This was it. All right, let's go ahead and keep this rolling right here. I'll get to another play right here, and Grant, I want your opinion on this one. All right, so we got it's going to be a zone read to the left, okay, inside zone to the left, and this backside guard is going to be responsible for trying to cut off um, Cam Ball right here, who's lined up over the center. I would say that's a pretty difficult block. That's a big ask, okay? Especially when you got this edge guy for Arkansas allowing all the defensive linemen to go ahead and get a head start and slant that direction anyway, okay? Very difficult block. But once again, guard does a great job cutting Cam Ball off. And watch this play develop right here. I mean, once again, I just don't feel like there's an excuse from that if you are the guy, supposedly the guy, team captain. That's just my 2 cents. Not trying to, knock anybody after the season is over, but those are
Yeah,
plays you got to make. And you see right here, coming off the ball, catching a lot with his hands. Take a look at my guy Quincy Rhodes over here, putting his face mask in this guy's chest and then fully extending, pushing him into the backfield. That's what you want front side or backside from Cam Ball. That's what you want. But look at this, just kind of let this guy cut me off, and then the ball goes right
yeah.
upside. And I would
Well,
say,
that's an offensive lineman's dream, man. I mean, he runs up the field and then turns around and immediately starts running diagonal. Like run down the line. The whole thing that you would be taught as a defensive lineman is press that thing down the line and then two gap it. If the guy tries to cut back, you shed the block and fall backside. If you don't, then you keep it front side. It pushes everything, and all that does, it just drags the play out down the line of scrimmage and allows your linebackers to get in the backfield and make a play. But he like turns his back and takes off running the opposite way. So the lineman's like, all right, well, if you're going to run that way, I'm cool.
yeah.
I'll let you go.
You brought up Caleb Wooden earlier too, and like I said, it's just what the tape says. I'm not trying to judge any of these guys. It's just the product you put on the field is usually what happens. All right, when it allows us to then go back and watch and explain this. So, yeah, you talked about my guy Caleb, right? And watch this recognition. Being an athlete and being a safety, it's all about how fast you can process what's going on, and then adjusting and putting yourself in a position to make a play. So right here, coming downhill, all right, and it looks like he's going to have edge support. But at what point do you see what is happening in front of you, and then adjusting and making sure that you're going to be there for a play? Just runs past this, not going to be there. It would be an easy, tackle and maybe a 5 yard gain. But right about here, eyes are on it, and you see the play develop. That's when you just have to be an athlete. Now, I think he's running out there because maybe that's his gap, that's his responsibility. But Grant, how many times have we been in a situation where, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, but at the same time, go be an athlete and go be a football player? And that's one
Correct.
right here where you just kind of run past it, even though you're doing what you're supposed to do. But sometimes you just got to be a football player and make it happen. And I'm
Yeah, I
just going to
mean,
run this play through. We
uh,
don't even have to. We don't even have to pause this
yeah, we
one.
ain't talk about that. I want to go back to what you just said though, and in a lot of instances, coaches are going to grade you on your assignment, your technique, and your effort. It's usually plus 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 minus minus minus, and that's the grading system in most things, right?
Yep.
Um, and so your assignment may have been a minus on the play that you just had up for Caleb, but there's a what's his, Dan Lanning at Oregon. The first couple games of the year, they had a freshman wide receiver, and they throw a little screen pass out there, and this kid's like blocking his tail off, pancakes his defender in the end zone. And then in the post game press conference, they said, "Hey, coach, blah blah wide receivers, freshman. He had a really unbelievable block on that touchdown that you guys scored." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I saw that. Not blocking the right person, but we can live with that effort."
Yeah.
And so, even though you get a minus on that, I don't think that a coach is going to go up to Caleb and go, "How many times I tell you you got to be on the outside of that?" But you did make the tackle for a 3 yard gain instead of 15. But make sure you're on that. No, you got to keep your head up and
Yeah.
play football, man. And
Yeah.
I agree that probably he was contained there, but I think maybe that was some of our problem this year. Is instinctual football just wasn't quite there.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I would say you see that pop up a lot, almost a little too robotic out there. Everybody just saying, "Let me just focus on what I'm doing, as long as I get." Yeah, missing a lot of elements there. All right, but I will say this: looking at this play, I've looked at this so many times, trying to see who's at fault here. Grant, how many times have we talked about? Sometimes you just got to give credit when credit's due. How the hell? I mean, and then you got to think about this. How many times this year has is our 380-pound defensive tackle got his full weight and arms around somebody and is not able to bring him down? It's pretty wild. All
Big
right, but
dog, just lay down. Lay down right here.
yeah, I mean that's wild right there. But hey, that running back was
Hey, go back.
special, and yeah, yeah, yeah,
Now, I'm
yeah.
not here to call out anybody again, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah. Let's hear it.
Is Caleb right here? Is he really wanting to push this ball backwards? Right
Caleb
here on the
is
hash. He's
right
right there.
here. Yep.
Is he really
Let's
wanting to
see.
like jam himself up in there and push the ball back, not let him get another yard?
Oh, that's why I like what we do. What we do. We just look at the tape.
Yeah, man,
Tape speaks.
that
Tape
eye in the
tape speaks for
sky,
itself.
the eye in the sky can be a real mf'er because it's not gonna lie.
And here's the thing: the mentality of what we kind of talked about all year on that defensive side of the ball. That right there, him, and I would say about 99.9% of everybody in that stadium, probably outside of the running back, thought that play was done.
Yeah,
Okay. But once again, whistle not blown. We're used to playing around some dudes who would hope that a guy would be stood up so they can get that hit on. Like they just want to get that one hit in before that whistle blows. Like they would hope that a guy doesn't go down so they can get that last shot in. But so many times on tape, we just saw, hey, I want them to make the tackle. Oh, I hope they make the tackle. Instead of, oh, please keep them up. Let me just get, because you know what happens is running backs like him that like to break tackles, if he gets used to saying, dang, those Arkansas boys, if I stay up, I'm gonna pay for it. You know, it changes how they even think too. But this play right here let me know all week when they watch film, what's that running back coach telling them? Hey, they don't like to wrap up. Hey, you can
yeah.
break these tackles. Hey, one broken tackle away from a big one. That's what the tape said every time a team prepared for us. And then I'm going to go ahead and get to this one right here, Grant. You that one you think blew your mind? Watch this. All right, I'm going to go along here. 3rd and 5 right here. Down a touchdown. Quarterback. It's a design run. Gets in for a touchdown. Okay. So Grant, you remember the drills like when we're in practice, right? And a quarterback runs, or we're like it's not a live drill, right? What do defensive players do to a ball carrier when it's not live?
uh, well, we call it whatever you want to call it, thud up or tag off on your hips. You know, like come up and pretty much two hand tap and say, all right, that's a tackle.
I couldn't believe this when I saw it. You ready for this?
Does he just
Watch this right here.
no?
Give me a little two-hand tap. That's what we do in practice when it's not a live drill. And then I'm over here trying to. I was just like, I had to watch it a few times. I'll go again. Watch this. Give me a little
And then gets
two-hand
out of the
tap.
way.
I mean, bro. And see, y'all wanted us to go back and watch this film. You know, I was trying to just move past this stuff, but here we are. That blew my mind. I don't know what the
The
excuse
the
is.
the two hand tap, but then like the hands up, like move out of the way, because that is what you would do in practice. Like, oh, I didn't hit him. I didn't hit him. Oh my.
And like, I think our goal here is try to explain why some of these things happen. I honestly don't have an explanation for that at all. The only thing that makes sense that I refuse to accept is that something clicked in his head of like it was routine for him not to tackle, but just to tag off on the quarterback. Whew,
100%.
that has to be what happened right there.
Had to. Had to.
That's bad. All right, that's the defensive side of things. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Okay, so I wanted to talk about KJ Jackson. Okay, and Grant, you can chime in anytime you want. I'll kind of go through these relatively quick. Um, Getting him comfortable, and this is a play that we used a lot. We ran it against Memphis. We ran it against, I think, Mississippi State. I can't remember what it is. But Rohan Jones would sneak out of the backfield. I don't know how many times we're going to run this, and the defense is going to fall for it. But I like the play decision to get KJ comfortable of throwing the ball down the field. Try to get him into a rhythm. I'm going to say rhythm. All right. I'm going to circle back around to rhythm and how important that is for a quarterback. Okay, we're going to get to the first 3rd and 8 situation right here. We don't end up converting this, but you got a nice little concept, hoping that you get man-to-man coverage, and that's exactly what you got. And then you can see him waiting on this right here. I think this is where the ball needed to go based on man-to-man coverage. However, I don't know if he saw this, and they had a really difficult position for this safety to guard the running back out of the backfield, opposite hash. I mean, it's almost if you get the ball quick enough to the running back and he gets the ball out quick, I mean, about an 8-yard gap, one-on-one in open space, I'm taking Mike Washington all day. All right. I feel like you have to break this tackle. Now, do I think the ball should have been thrown inside with the slant route or the little option route? Yes, but still, he got the ball out quick enough to give the running back room to make one miss. Shoestring tackle right there. I know Mike watching that, and I know Mike Washington. Talked to him a lot. He's probably looking at that too, like, how did I not break that
Hey,
tackle on that 3rd and 8?
real quick, point out. Do you know who that was?
Was that Jalen Catalong? Jeez Louise, we got to check his status. If he comes back for another year, college football's just, it's already in a bad spot.
I may, I may be, I may be trying to get a couple snaps in next year.
There may be a loophole where somebody like us could go back. There has to be a loophole nowadays. Has to. All right, let's keep going. Back on the field, 2nd and 7. Drops back for a nice little pass right here. I believe it is. Yep. Great concept. He just missed right here. Okay. Clearing out the deep half of the field, ready for this deep crosser. And right here, the only thing you really need to be concerned about is this corner. And this is one where you can go back on tape and be like, he just underthrew this one. He threw it right to him. On this one, understanding the defense and where the holes are in this defense, this is one you kind of have to lay up and lead him to because there's nobody on that whole side of the field to cover that since that corner is right there. Throws this one short. The red arrow indicating that. Should have thrown it more where the green arrow is indicating. And you get an easy completion right there. That's one you have to just go back on tape and watch. So let's get to another 3rd down conversion right here. Once again, I think this was a bust at first. The guy on the outside was completely uncovered, and I think he recognized it. He takes a look, understands, drops back. Everyone else is covered. He threw it to the guy that was out of place and picks up a 3rd and 7 to Mike Washington. I think that's what kind of threw them off right now is you had the running back out wide. They're just trying to figure out who had him in coverage. He recognized it was messed up, threw a nice little hitch route to our running back for a nice little 7-yard gain right there. And we can all talk about this. I like what happened up front, good protection. But this is something we're going to have to get used to again this year. Not used to, but just familiarize ourselves with the offensive coordinator from Memphis that is coming over. What he did at Memphis last year, we did a whole breakdown on it. He's an RPO type guy, which means you're going to give a lot of decision making to the quarterback. Now, we were more of a read option of every once in a while we'd have the option to pull out and throw it, but that really wasn't our bread or butter. It was handoff or keep it for the most part. This one, there'll be a handoff option, a read option, and an option to throw it as well, a lot more often than what we're used to. So decision making is going to be huge for KJ Jackson. Did a great job pulling the ball right here. Physical, breaking arm tackles. Grant, I know you're going to circle back around to that a little bit later. Take a look up front and talk about KJ a little bit more. Let's keep it moving. 2nd and 4. Find ourselves in another situation. This one was interesting to me because I was trying to figure out what's the holdup right here or the hesitation. But he drops back right here. And this is, you see him eyeing down Rohan Jones right here. And then for some reason, he shifts his eyes to the middle of the field. I'm not sure why, but then he gets back and throws to Rohan. So you see he throws a little behind him, but this goes back to that Texas thing. There was a ball that he threw to Omega Blake. It was like on a skinny post, and it was kind of thrown low and behind him a little bit. But if you look at the tape, if KJ Jackson leads Rohan Jones right here, he throws him into a headache or maybe a stretcher. You know what I mean? Because you got that defender sitting right outside. And I said this a lot, Grant. What was so impressive to me with NFL quarterbacks is sometimes when I thought they were throwing behind me, I thought it was a bad throw. But you go back and watch tape, then you say, oh man, they were protecting me from this hit by making me slow down and move. And so those are the very, very, very few quarterbacks that have the ability to not throw their players into a big hit but they put the ball in a place. And if you trust them, that's your indicator of them telling you, hey, somebody's outside. Okay, I'm throwing this for you to catch and hold on. If he's doing that, Grant, that's big time.
I would love to think that he is, and maybe he is. That's big time stuff from a redshirt freshman quarterback because the one thing that you have to trust in the quarterbacks that you played with in the NFL that we played with in the NFL could do that. They don't miss unless it's on purpose. I
Yeah.
mean that they could put that ball on a blade of grass on any field you wanted them to. So when
Yeah.
they throw it to you a certain way, it's for a reason. I hope, man, I hope we've got one. He's coming back next year. He's already announced it. So I hope we got one that can do that and is making those decisions. He's 2 for 2. If it was an accident, man, it's a happy accident.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep it rolling right here. He ends up dropping it, hit him in the hands. You got to make
Come on,
that catch.
Rohan.
Puts us in a 3rd and 4 situation. I like the pre-snap recognition, knowing you got man-to-man coverage and you pick what receiver you want to work. Okay, now there is a receiver at the very bottom of the screen. You just can't see him because the TV cut it off. But he pretty much ran a release route to allow this option route for the inside receiver. Makes a good,
Woo.
I mean, great route. I love the patience of CJ Brown right here. Glad that he's coming back. The one thing we said this the other day that he needs to work on the offseason, you have to be a willing blocker. I don't care what offense you're in, especially with what we got coming. We saw that on tape from Memphis. The receivers would block downfield. And that was a big point of our breakdown of how easy it was for our DBs to get blocked by their receivers. But when it comes to route running, he gets it. He understands leverage, he understands body position. Great one-on-one route, great throw to the sideline of allowing him to turn up and get something done. And then once again, this is the benefit of having a quarterback that not only can sit in the pocket and make throws, but is a threat with their legs. Defense right here, they dropped a lot of their linebackers underneath, trying to force, have coverage all over the place. Nobody's open right now. Everybody's accounted for. And this is what really helps when you have a quarterback that's a threat with their legs. I mean, you can't ask anything more from the secondary and the linebackers. But when you got a guy that can escape and pick up what is this 4 to 5 extra yards, that's huge. This is another play that I'm still trying to figure out what the holdup is on this. The tight end and the bootleg or naked, whatever you want to call it, is always the first read. Get the ball out right now, put it in his hands, and let him turn up field. And look at what he's working with. I mean, at least a first down. No telling what can happen. Holds on to it a little bit. Now he has this guy in his face. He's adjusting for the hit, ends up throwing a bad ball. Just got to get the ball out quick, make a lot faster decision. Throws behind him, can't convert it. All right, let's get to a 3rd and 10 situation. And Grant, this is kind of where I'm going to start passing things off, but talk about a big time throw. Big time throw. And there's a few times, Grant, we watched on tape with Talon that sometimes the protection would break down, but he still had time to make something happen. But when he saw what was coming, then you have a decision to make. Am I going to
Yeah.
stay in the pocket and take this hit on the chin, but deliver this ball to give our guys an opportunity to make a play? Or am I going to tuck it and run? Okay. Look at this. Guy comes free. You see it right here. I mean, it's right in his line of sight. And he knows if I throw this ball, I'm going to take a hit. Stays in the pocket, delivers a strike for a touchdown. That's big time. Big time, big time. Up front, I mean, if you want to talk about this play, I mean, right over that defender, that was, that he had to work to get past. And once again, look at this ball placement away from the defender. I mean, I don't know if it's coincidence. And I think us as Razorback fans, and I'm not going to say I'm above this at all because I like to be as fair as honest, but there is a big time Razorback fan in here. Right now I'm looking for something, something that's going to make us feel okay, maybe we can turn something around next year. And I admit that. Now I'm always going to be fair, but from what I've seen on tape, if these throws and the placement are on purpose, we're dealing with somebody special right now. And you got to think, this is him just going. He's getting into his groove. And then something happened where I was really pissed off at Coach Petrino. And I say that with all due respect. We take him out of the whole second quarter. He didn't do anything, in my opinion, to warrant taking him out. Then you put him in the second half after he started getting into a rhythm. And then this is his first throw after sitting on the bench, throws it short. All right. Then you move along to a second down. Watch this. At another spot, throws it short, out of rhythm, out of sync. I thought that was a bad decision of taking him out of that game. I think up at that point, I think he was. It could have been 8 of 10, 90 yards and one touchdown, and then you're
Yeah,
up.
we talked about it in the post game. Yeah, we talked about it in
Yeah,
the post game. I mean, if that was the plan that we were going to kind of trade quarterbacks back and forth through the game, fine. That could be the plan going in, but plans are meant to be changed. And I think
yeah,
after he had those first couple of drives, and he was pretty automatic. I think maybe through the second drive out there, he had an incompletion. He only had one or two incompletions through two drives and a touchdown. And like you said, almost 100 yards in passing. I think as a coach, you've got to say, all right, I'm abandoning the plan. KJ's ready to play. If we feel like he starts faltering, okay, Talon, we're going to bring you back into the mix here. But to just stick to the plan that we had after that success, I think you did yourself a disadvantage as a team by pulling the guy that had the hot hand out until it cooled off, or if it cooled off.
yep. All right, that was my bit on KJ. All right, so let's go and transition over to the offensive line, and I'm going to pick back up to that play to Rohan Jones, because now I'm looking at from your side of things of why did it work? Why did these linebackers run downhill? And Grant, I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, the big thing is the run sale. We've talked about that and the importance of that from an offensive line perspective is keeping a low hat, and then you do have to back out of it when you know it's a pass because then you've got to be the agile fleet of foot guy and stay in front of your defender. But when you come off the ball when that ball is snapped, the defenders are reading the offensive line's helmet. If it stays low and they feel like they're trying to get pushed, they're going to come up and run support. If we pop up and our helmets are high and our hands are up, they know, okay, it's pass. I'm bailing back. And they did a really good job here selling this. And then you get Rohan sneaking out. You can see these guys take 5, 6, 7 steps forward. Now, number 6, number 13, everybody's like, oh, here we go. I got to get back.
It's that. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I mean, you can see
makes
everybody's
it.
bailing trying to find it. And by that point in time, we got the upper hand because we know what we're trying to get done here. Um, so, a couple things on this one. We got a little bit of a jailbreak when it comes to who we're blocking, but I think this is Jaden Platt, if I'm
Yep.
not mistaken. I want to see a little bit more out of him. We talked about aiming point quite a bit with these tight ends. And so if you look here, he's going to try to down block on this defensive end. We're going to pull the tackle around. I guess we can call the plays out. This is 48.
Oh, I
But
didn't even think about that. We can start saying the plays now that Coach Petrino's gone.
yeah, it's stretch choice, it looks like.
That's amazing.
Or 48, like 48P is what you would call it because it's a pitch. But so you're going to end up 2 down blocks. Outside receiver here is going to go for this linebacker. The aiming point is terrible, though. You want to pin this guy out. Go, run it back one more time to the start. You have leverage here if you're Jaden
Yep.
Platt, meaning that you're trying to pin this guy inside. You want to keep him right there on that hog's neck.
Mm.
And he doesn't take good footwork. He ends up head to head with this guy, and now this guy's trying to fight across his face. Well, what does this do? Now it elongates the play out. If you remember me just talking about Cam Ball,
Yeah.
we want everything to stay on that line of scrimmage and stay flat because it doesn't give the running back an option to cut back or anything. And
Yeah.
so receiver, not a good block.
I mean,
Jaden,
yeah, that's Courtney
not a good
Crutchfield
block.
right here. And, we talked about how important it is to be willing to block. You can just look at this attempt right here. That ain't what you want.
Well, and now you got a jailbreak, right? And so we're kicking this thing out. They do a really good job running up and filling the gaps, and now Mike got nowhere to go. If you
Yeah.
seal that whole thing off, and now you're pulling, I think it's Kavion Broussard around, you've got
Yeah.
a ton of green grass for Mike to set this block up, and we've seen it time and time again this year or last year, I guess that they've done that. They've done exactly what we are trying to accomplish here. He set the block up, brought the defender straight to the offensive lineman, and I think in the Arkansas State game, we hit like a 70-yard touchdown run on it. You can do the same thing here, but
Yeah.
it's all aiming point. It's all technique. and it seems like time and time and time again this year we abandoned what we were coached to do, and
Mm.
this is the result. You get
I
a
mean,
2 3 yard tackle for loss.
yeah, if you get your tight end and receiver just to do their job right here, and the thing about it is, you're right, Grant. Like you couldn't ask for better leverage. I mean,
No, on
you
either
you
play.
yeah. If that were me, I'd be like, oh my gosh, thank goodness this guy's lined up right inside of me.
If you
And
hold those two guys right there, and now you've
these two,
got 7-5 pulling around for this cat over here on the hash,
yeah,
you're pitching it out to Mike Washington. I mean, fire up the band. Isn't that what they used to say?
oh yeah, he makes one guy miss. I mean,
And I'm
oh
going to give it to Kavion too. Not a great block from him either. So I mean, I'm
yeah.
not just going to pick on the tight ends and the receivers. We got to do better on that pull and get our hands on somebody.
All right, let's go and take a look at this play right here.
Yep.
A little
And we
KJ
got Carmona
Jackson.
right here. I want to point out
Yeah,
Carmona, and this is like getting into the intricacies of offensive line play, like the very small details of what it takes to be successful at this position. And I think maybe I'll let a little leak out right here. I'm going to try to get some more detailed type videos out this off season, kind of like cool or something like that, where we're talking about the like how you tie your cleats details of going into a
yeah,
game.
I
So you
like it.
guys can kind of start to understand more and more about each position. I think DJ may have some things like that from a receiver tight end perspective. We want to give you guys some cool content rolling out of football season, but always preparing to get back into it. So anyway, jumping back into this, I want you to look at Carmona's right hand here. So he's going to be working to this linebacker that's right off the hash toward the hog. Okay. Oh, can you take me back just a little bit? I want to
Oh,
I want to see this right hand. I'm going to test your skills here.
all
So
right, I got you.
he is in a combo block, or a tag is what we would call it, tackle and guard. And they're going to try to work this guy back to this backside linebacker. So this hand right here.
Yeah,
If I know I'm working to somebody out this way, excuse me, I don't want my hand in that block, because what it does is it keeps my shoulders turned, and I know that I'm working back this way. So that's Corey Robinson's block. I'm just helping him on it. I
yep,
got swallowed wrong there. But I want to keep this left hand in the block and keep this hand free, because then it allows me to open this up and I can go assume that block. But you see this guy, he shoots the gap, and because he's got his right hand in there, he can't get
mm.
over to that person. Now, it ends up being a keep anyways, and I think KJ does a really, really great job of making something out of nothing, because again, we don't get great blocks on the outside.
Mm.
And it looks like maybe that's Platt again. I do like the effort there from Platt. He kind of chips this guy. KJ's enough of an athlete to get through there, and then he works up and finds some other color and gets on another block. I'm not going to hate on him too much, but
Mm.
yeah, when I'm looking at Carmona, and that's the kind of stuff that, at the next level, which that guy's going to go play at,
Oh yeah,
that'll kill you. I mean, you're talking about some high level football being played up there. Is something as small as your right hand being involved in a block when it shouldn't be, and it's a busted play.
this is a little nice little pickup that we want to talk about.
It is. It is. I think. Do you have the end zone view of this? It'd
Of
probably be
course I
easier to
do.
see.
I got you. All right, let's go end
Yeah, we'll
zone
play
view
it
right
through. It looks
here.
like a big jumbled up mess right there.
Yeah.
But not an easy blitz to pick up. There's a lot of movement going on here, but you can watch Carmona and you can watch Branham and you can watch Caden Kittler. They do a really great job of picking this up. So Carmona's responsible for
Wait, can
this.
I say something? Can I say
Go
something?
ahead. Go.
Hey, when something goes away, something's coming to you.
That's it, man. That's it. Hey, you're coachable, man. You are coachable.
Let's see
So,
it.
great example of this right here. Carmona's responsible for this looper. He sees it going away. So what does he know? Something's coming to me. So he assumes this nose right here that's over the top of Kittler. We bumped this thing off, man. I'm telling you, a 3-man bump off, almost impossible. but we make it happen.
Wow.
It
That's
is jumbled
awesome.
up. I would love to see Corey set that edge a little bit more. And I don't
Ooh.
know if this is like a line game inside of a blitz stunt slash. They put something together here.
Hold on.
Uh,
I skipped a frame. I want to go back because I want to show how pretty this is, So essentially you say Carmodo bumped that off, took his.
yep. And hey,
Killer
look at
saw whoop.
Caden. Something went away. Something's coming to me. His eyes immediately snap back, and he bumps off Branham, pushes him. You see that
Wow.
push?
That's
Bam.
beautiful.
Let's
That's good
go.
stuff.
That's really, really good stuff. Like I said, I would want to see Corey over here a little more firm on that outside because that kind of muddies up the picture a little bit. If that's not there, this is, I mean, it's perfect. It's literally perfect.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out one thing. And so right here, I think if 10's in the game, it's a scramble fest. We're
Yeah.
off to the races. And KJ does a really good job of all of this in his face, a lot of things going on. He's swatting at the ball right here. He bumps into his guard, and what does he do? He stays in the pocket and throws one down the field.
Nice.
I think that's exciting for the future, and I
Yeah.
hope that it doesn't end up being one of these things where he gets gun shy his junior and senior year because he's been hit and decides to take off running. I hope he can stay in that pocket, work it, and deliver the ball down the field like you see right here.
You want to know how I know you're an offensive lineman?
How's that?
Because you refuse to acknowledge this hold right here.
That's not a hold.
Oh man, that's not a hold.
No.
Hold on, watch him a little longer. You ready for this?
Yeah. How you move, man? It's a shadow. He's moving his feet.
Oh man, you want to know how I know you're offensive lineman?
That ain't no hold, man.
Oh my gosh.
Play it out.
Here, I'm gonna slow it down. Let me slow
Go
it
ahead.
down. You tell me. We'll keep our eyes on our guy right here. Hey, I'm all for it. As long as it's not against us, whatever. Let's keep our eyes on Corey Robinson right here.
Yeah,
You
all
ready?
right.
There we go. All right, he's right here. Okay,
Yep.
you ready?
Yep. Pushing him. Pushing him.
Pushing him? Oh
Yeah, he was
my
pushing him, man. He
god.
had that hand out there. He's pushing him like this. Look at that's a
Wow.
good block.
Wow.
Oh, I'm glad you took that down. That was a great block. That's called effort, DJ. That's called not giving up on the block, man.
Power to you. I like it. All right. Now we
I would
got
like
that
to
out
see
the
that
way.
hand maybe inside just a little bit, but hey,
Oh, just
you know,
just a little, huh?
hey, get it off the shoulder pad. Get that thing. Hey, if you're in here, you can hold on to whatever
Yeah.
you want.
That last play. I mean, that let's get back to that pickup. Bumping off,
Yeah,
one going away. We can't tell you how many times last year we sat here and went over offensive line tape, and man, it was just like it was tough to watch. And
yeah,
I can't think of a bigger improvement on our football team from last year to this year than up front. And I know we addressed this Monday night, but man, that's tough when it comes to the guy who really engineered all that not getting a nod. And right now, I haven't heard of anybody on Arkansas staff that they want to retain. Now, I know some people say clean house, blah blah blah, but real got to recognize real, right? And you know, I think coaches understand the relationship between O line coaches and their players, the recruits, what they've grinded with, and now your new coach has to come in and learn all new people, figure out what they're good at, figure out where they struggle, figure out how to coach them, what reaches them the best. And it's just hard for me not to think that Coach Mateos didn't want the opportunity to stay. I feel like he did. And I felt like he had the resume based off the rankings, the tape, the improvement to at least get a nod. Now, I know coaches come in and they want their guys. It is what it is. Silverfield's an offensive line guy. Maybe he has a small little different tweak in what he likes to do. And maybe the way Mateos does things completely throws that off. We don't know all that stuff. But, I mean, I know you as an offensive lineman, I'm assuming Mateos wanted to stay.
I mean, you would think so. You know, I had right after the season, had a brief kind of text back and forth with him a little bit, and I just told him, hey, I'm very impressed with the year to year transition of that group. And if you look at, and I think what I actually texted him was is Pro Football Focus or one of those types of statistical groups that sent out a deal. And Arkansas's offensive line was rated the number one offensive line in the SEC based on the statistics that they pulled and put against the next closest. I think we were 95% and some change, and the next closest was Texas A&M's at 88%. So we were seven points better than in what however they measure that. I don't know the KPIs they use to measure it, but that can't go unignored or ignored. I guess that can't
Yeah.
go unforeseen. But I did. I shot it over to him and I said, "Hey, man, I'm incredibly proud. 4th and 5 and all that aside, as an alumni, I'm incredibly proud of a person that played that position for this university. That we're back to where we can be proud of it." And so, at the end of the day, we text back and forth. And I told him, if you want to stay here, I hope you get that opportunity. I hope you get the chance to stay here as being Arkansas Razorback. And if not, then I know you're going to land on your feet quick, because it's going to be something that someone's going to swoop that guy up so fast with that kind of resume and that kind of a year to year rebuild of a unit.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Uh, and his response was, obviously, thank you, and appreciate all that. Watched y'all stuff. I mean, he was tuning in. I think some of these players were tuning in.
He probably
No,
he probably couldn't
his
stand my
family was
ass.
tuning in.
Yeah.
You may not be the favorite of some people up there. It is what it
I
is.
know I'm
But
not. I know I'm
but
not.
and his comments were, I said, I just hope we don't have to coach against Eric Mateos coached offensive line, or
Yeah.
play against an Eric Mateos coached offensive line. He said, unfortunately, I'm going to try to stay in the SEC.
Yeah.
If
I
it's
saw
not an Arkansas,
him
it's going to be
I saw
somewhere.
him post when we were getting these signees in, and he seemed excited, and he was playing the part, doing the part. So, and I
Yeah.
saw somebody comment. I'm curious if you saw this on our social media pages when we posted a clip about Mateos, and somebody says, "Please, guys, we're going to sit here and act like Talon. Anytime somebody would blitz, our offensive line couldn't pick it up, and we get sacked all the time." And this is where like we don't. I think this is maybe where we differ from a way a lot of the other some people may watch the game. We just look at the tape, and it's not like we're pointing fingers, but we at least know why something didn't work. And I
Yeah.
would say for the most part, a lot of it was decision making from the quarterback position that led to sacks. I mean, we heard Coach Petrino say it all year in a press conference. Talon can't do that. He has to know when to let go of the ball. He has to know when not to leave the pocket. Sometimes he needs to know when to take a bad play and not make it worse. And so, and
I'll
holding
argue, man, like, were we perfect up front from an offensive line perspective? Of course not. No way. No way. Far from perfect. But the offensive line can only block the scheme that they're being told to block in a lot of instances. And we're not here to throw shade on other groups or whatever, but there's plenty of times where I maybe saw something different than the quarterback saw, but that's the general on the field. If he says do this and he checks to that, all right, man, that's what we're going to block. We're blocking it up. And maybe it's wrong. There were instances where maybe Talon held the ball too long. There are instances where we blew assignments from an offensive line.
Mhm.
I mean, it happens, man. The thing that people fail to realize is that everybody on the other side of the ball for all those other schools is also on scholarship.
Yeah.
They're also really good football players, and they're
Yeah.
going to make plays too. And so, but from a year to year transition, from what we saw in all of the 24 season versus what we saw in the 25 season from an offensive line perspective, it is undoubtedly one of the biggest transitions, not only on this team, but maybe in college football.
Mm.
And I would say we went from probably the worst or one of the worst offensive lines to one of, well, the best in the SEC. It's crazy to me because I went the other day to look at the Joe Moore Award, a watch list or whatever. Joe Moore Award is the top offensive line in college football. Arkansas was not on there. There were a couple
Mm.
SEC offensive lines that were on there. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, all right, if we are rated the number one offensive line in the SEC, and yet you've got an A&M or Alabama or whoever on there now, a lot of that depends on the
Oh,
number in that left column, not the right column.
100%.
It's hard to
100%.
go give an offensive line a ton of praise for a team that went 2-10, but
Mm.
I was really impressed with that group all year, and it was hard to find things, and we did. I watched every single offensive snap after every game on Sundays, as did DJ, as did Josh and Matt on the defensive side of the ball. We put our due diligence in, but it was hard to find things that I was just completely mind boggled by.
Mm.
Um, this group did a really good job this year, and I'm truly sad to say that I hate to see Mateos go. I was hoping that he would be able to have some continuity there and stay. But now we're moving on. I mean, it is what it is, and it's part of the nature of this business. Part of the reason I didn't necessarily want to get in it when I had the
Yeah.
opportunity to be a coach.
Ooh,
Um,
man.
it's cutthroat, and you're only as good as what have you done for me lately kind of business. So um, hopefully some of these kids stay though that were integral to the success of this offensive line, and we're going to keep our eyes close and peeled on all of that as we move throughout the offseason.
And you know what just hit me when you said about coaching? Because it's just, I hear you on that. If me and Matt would just pull the trigger and move to Northwest Arkansas, we would legit have a Pee Wee fourth and five football team.
Have you seen? Uh, have you seen? Who
Greg
is it?
Olson and
Greg
Luke
Olson
Kuechly.
and Keekley.
Yes.
We're smashing that team, dude.
They are, oh, no doubt, for sure. I mean,
They're all in though.
they are, I mean, and
I'm
they
not
got,
trying to tie that into Silverfield, by the way, but they are, dude.
no, I'm not
Those
gonna lie. It
two.
would take us a while to get on that level because we're not gonna sit here and act like they were the best to do it at a high level for a very, very
Oh
long
yeah,
time. I mean, Luke Kuechly may be one of the better linebackers to ever play NFL, and Greg Olson one of the better tight ends. Were they?
oh, there's
And
no doubt. I'll say we're
yeah,
smashing them, but that's just a competitor in me, right? I mean, like I
yeah.
don't believe that anybody beat me, but um, you better believe like we got drones. We're filming practice.
Oh man, locked in.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be over there on the iPad like this. Like, all right, the safety came down. Like, coach, I don't think he even knows that he came down. I think he wasn't supposed to. He's 8. Um, that'd be legit. Y'all, come on, man, move on up. We'll
That'd
sponsor
be
a
tough.
Pee football team.
Sponsor a Pee Wee football team. That'd be fun. Speaking of that, I always want to say this: fourth and five, we're going to do our part during the holiday season and make sure that we give back. Don't forget, here in a little while, we're going to have on our social media. I just need to figure out the best way to do it of bidding on the NFL helmets of AJ Brown autographed with the Eagles and Joe Flacco, his Super Bowl MVP signature of a. Now, it's not the one he wore at the game. He just signed a few with the Ravens NFL official helmets the year he won the Super Bowl, beating the 49ers, I believe. So we're going to auction those off and we're going to try to raise money. And I think usually what's best, there's shelters here in town of kids needing Christmas gifts and Arkansas Children's Hospital. And they do some really cool events where we can go and hand out presents to kids. That's the goal. That's what I want fourth and five to do. And I would love for our community to be a part of it. And if y'all don't want to be a part of it, that's fine. We're still going to do it anyway. I just think the more the merrier. Okay. So I would even go as far as Grant, if you could find a day to get down here, we can get you in a Santa Claus outfit and we can go ahead and deliver some toys.
I'm in my element.
That's
Uh,
you, right?
you better have a
Uh,
big Santa Claus outfit,
we'll
though.
make it
That's all I
work,
got to
man.
say.
We'll make it work. So y'all stay tuned with that. We're gonna do our part, and I think that'll be fun for the holiday season. Grant, I appreciate you as always. And to the 4 people who wanted this breakdown, you're welcome. Merry
But we did
Christmas.
54 minutes of it right there. Eat your heart out, folks.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one.